Hey guys, I got another Medabot video for you today. Today, talking about Landmotor. So this is kind of the international release version. This box is looking kind of rough, so that's why I'm going to rip into it so we can take a closer look. But as you can see, there's from what I've seen in my research, I've found a few versions. There's, for the 1-packs and the 2-packs, there's this piping version. Growing up, this is the one I saw where I live. This lightning. Also, here's the Acehorn. And if I bring this one in here, that's the Japanese version. Not the best. I'm kind of looking out to see if I can get another one of these. But I'm not really in a rush. If you look at the back, it does that kind of backing. And then these ones have a little bit different. I kind of think the international release for these figures is kind of boring as far as the backing. Like, it's got like that smooth texture the front of the box has, whereas this one's just, this is kind of classic to me. It has that classic back of the box cardboard feel to it. But the cool thing about it is if we get a closer look, each of these has their own unique, like, it shows the Medabot for whatever version. Like, I have here the Acehorn for the Japanese release, and off the top of my head I can't remember what his name is. I'll probably look it up between cuts. But yeah, look at the back here. Yeah, kind of a little bit of a different, thing going on. Got Acehorn versus multicolor, or 7 colors in Japan. I'm gonna look up what his is. I'm pretty sure it's Acehorn, but I'm probably wrong. And then on the front, you got even in color, kind of a look. So that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this Landmotor open, and we are going to check him out. That's the only one I'm gonna open up today. Okay, so I got the Landmotor open. We're going to check it out in a second. I did want to kind of go over Acehorn real quick. So I looked it up, and literally the Japanese translation of the word translates to ace horn, just like how Landmotor is land motor, is 2 words, kind of mashed together. So I wasn't remembering it because it's the same. So that's cool. Alright, so yeah, I was talking a little bit about the back of the boxes. They're kind of boring in the US. What I want to look at with these guys is what I have noticed, and we'll get a better look with Landmotor for a good example. But like, look how kind of crisp and clean some of the painting, and how well that is done on this Acehorn. And if you kind of look at this one, he's kind of a bit not as clean with the lines, like with his mouth. This one's very clean. And then kind of like internationally, it's not as clean of a paint job in some cases as they got in Japan for their release. It's kind of hard next to each other. Which one is different color? I think this is more the Acehorn that they sent out with Hasbro. I'll just call them the Hasbro release versus the Japanese, just to differentiate them, so not just keep saying that over and over. The Hasbro release is a bit whiter than this one. It's a bit of a bluish white, kind of. I don't know if it's necessarily this lighting or how it is, but these are different colors. So yeah, let me bring these out, and then this down, and be like, wait, you took this out? Yep. I carefully cut along the lines, and this is honestly the OCD crazy way to do it, like I'm thinking about, but that's okay. It's kind of cool if I ever want to like display kind of like the backing and show that off. I might do that if I ever have some of these Japanese ones. I do not recommend that. I don't know. It's kind of each their own. Just if you're going to use a sharp knife, be careful. So yeah, let's get him out. Alright, so every Medabot, whether it's a 1-pack or a 2-pack, comes with one of these, which is, it's a poster and it shows the cards that you can get. I couldn't find my loose one on me, and I don't feel like opening this, so I'm not going to check this out today. We got a Landmotor card. It's pretty cool. And, I mean, you kind of see it. The packaging is kind of like a... Not every Japanese one is like this. It depends. I don't know what kind of home this came out of. It could have been a smoker, could have not. But this is kind of like a darker gray, which normally is not. So that's why it's kind of hard to see in here. But it kind of looks like the same artwork. So, again, that's kind of why I'm looking for another version of that. You got the instructions, which I'm going to give you a quick overview. They're all folded up like this, which is a choice. But you can easily find the instructions on this online. Like on the wiki page, I think there's one. Alright, so I got these guys laid out. I forgot to mention, this is the dice. So if you roll it in the game, the yellow markings are like the head, the arm, the left arm, and the right arm. So basically that's how you decide what you're damaging. And then the number on the red and the blue is how you can tell how much damage you do. And then on the back of a figure, these are all the same for these Landmotors. Let's see, there you go. So the head for this guy is 59. This is the Hasbro one I just opened. And then 29 on his left arm, and then 21 on his right. So having these guys out, the reason I wanted to do a video, and I'm realizing it's kind of difficult unless, like, maybe I put these boot to boot, or foot to foot. Yeah, it's really hard to tell by the naked eye on the way this camera is. So Hasbro released a 2-pack with Landmotor, which is the more common I've seen online, which has the clear one. And I've been looking around online. It's actually, I don't want to say it's hard to get, but it's not as cheap anymore as I think it should be, because these only came out as like $3 back in the early 2000s, and now like they're selling some of them for like 30 plus. So yeah, looking at these figures, this one I believe has like a more bluer tone to it, and it's kind of more obvious the more you look at them. But yeah, this is more straight up gray, which is kind of why I'm going through. I've been collecting like some of the Japanese figures, and actually you can probably tell a little bit better if I put the heads. Yeah, there you go. So there's a little bit of a color difference with the figures. And I have a couple other figures too that it's a little bit more obvious that there's a color difference, but being that I'm trying to collect all of these, when I have these on display, I'll probably have like Japanese on the right, because it's the right side of a map, and then West on the left. That's usually how I see most maps. I don't know. Some maps are actually swapped, where it's like Asia and everything's on the left. Alright, so I'm not going to take the parts of this figure apart like I did the last video, but I will say what they are. That way, if you're looking out for this figure, a lot of people, when they sell these, like resell them, these are missing. Something interesting about this one. Again, some of these figures come from like houses where people smoke, and sometimes it's just the coloring that they put it. But yeah, my clear Landmotor has kind of a brownish right one and a regular colored left one, so I might get another one of these guys at some point. Not in a rush for that. But yeah, that's missing. This is the only piece, this leg piece, where it's like the same front and back as any others that I've seen on the figures. What I mean is, like, it's kind of like if you happen to take these apart, put them back together, you could maybe mistakenly give them a front butt, put the back on the front. These parts are a pain in the neck. I would not recommend taking the wheels off because they don't rotate normally. And once they come off, they like to come off, and then that's usually how people lose them. And just by messing with this, you can kind of see how easy it is the back piece to come off. So yeah, that's pretty much a general overview of Landmotor. And actually, in this kind of lighting, you can see, yeah, it's kind of like a little bit bluer. Definitely a bit more gray. with Landmotor. You can kind of see all the parts that are not like gray. That's where the paint application was for the different colors. And a bit of a fun way to end off the video. I got, oh my god, you can definitely tell. You can tell very easily on camera. So I'm going to put the Japanese on the right and the Hasbro release on the left. Yeah, this Phoenix, this is the first time I've actually looked at this and be like, I could tell the difference. I guess it just depends on light. Putting these like on a shelf next to each other, you cannot tell. So I guess that's like more of a deeper red, and this is more of an orange. Here's one that's a bit easier to tell. Cyan Dog, which is a figure I've never had in my childhood, but got more so recently. It's a little bit harder to tell on camera with this one. But yeah, in person, very easy. This is more of a royal blue. I'm going to stand them up. And then this is, that's a little bit better. That's more of a navy there. So Hasbro has more of a navy color. Oops. And oops, sorry, it's hard to it's hard to look at this and do it through the camera finder. He does stand up pretty good. I don't know why he's falling over. Probably because I'm not paying attention to how I'm putting him up. And yeah, that's pretty much that. I got a couple more figures. Here is Belzelga. And let me just double check on the back. Hasbro. Yep, this is the Hasbro one. So again, a bit more navy. This one is a little bit more bluish with the colors. But like looking online, it's really kind of hard to tell with some of these. And I think down the line I'll probably do a more in-depth showcase with all these, but I'm just trying to do these real quick. Here's an easy one, and we'll finish off on one of my favorites. Bam. So Hasbro, lightish yellow with the Medabi, and then most of the Medabis for the Japanese release are like this darker orange. And then last but not least, I like to call this gold Medabi and pyrite Medabi, because if you look at these next to each other, this looks kind of like a fake gold, the Hasbro release. And then the normal Medabi, and again, I'll do a better showcase down the line, has the gold. Alright, so that pretty much does it for me here with my review of Landmotor. As you can see, you know, he's more light bluish gray with the Japanese release, and then if you check with the Hasbro release, he's more of a gray. And I just figured it's kind of cool to show off to the Medabot / Medabots fan community, more in-depth overview. It wasn't really something I've seen online, so I just figured something cool to show off. Right behind it, because I did forget to show some of these during the review, I figured I'd show them now. Here is Sharkan. He is, I think it's Yui-Chi-Tan in Japanese. More bluish here, more muted, lighter blue here. One of my favorite comparisons for like the color differences would be in the Hasbro release. He's more of a pinkish color, which used to annoy the heck out of me as a kid. And also something I noticed when I was taking pictures for my Twitter, the head heights are actually a little bit different. So if you notice, this one looks a little bit taller. The head is actually, the tail fin is like literally like maybe that much taller. But it's something I noticed, so I thought it was worth mentioning. But yeah, this is more the red he is in the show, Roll Star, called Stingray in the English release. And there he is in the Hasbro on the left. And then last but not least, we got Samurai, who is kind of like a glossy, really vibrant red with the Japanese release. And I noticed there's some variations with like the different molds that they came out with. There's a clear one too they came out with. I'll talk about another time. But yeah, there's a couple of times where I noticed a little bit paint color difference with the gold headpiece. And he's a bit muted here on the left with the Hasbro. So, you know, just something cool I noticed. So that's pretty much it for me. Let me know in the comments what your guys' favorite Medabot / Medarot is that I showed off today. Did you like this review? Do you want to see more of them? let me know. I'd be more than happy to show off more when I get more. All right, thanks guys for watching. Bye.